What's going on, YouTube? It's Donnie B all day. So today I'm bringing back out my Ravager by Croco knives, future maker of some D-bad blades. Actually, they're in the process right now of making a D-bad blade. So this guy right here, I need to burn some stuff, and everything is soaked. Yesterday we got more rain than I could imagine, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get a fire going, but I'm going to try anyway, and at least we're going to see how this guy does bushcrafty style, because I need some wood and I only have a little bit, so I might have to knock down a log, and I'm going to do everything with this guy. We're going to process a small log, we're going to turn it into kindling, we're going to get some curls, and we're going to get some fluff, and we're going to light a fire, all with the package that this comes with. I'm not going to use my regular ferro rod. I'm going to use the one that comes on here just to see how it all goes. So let's go do that. All right, so first things first, I do have some logs here that are completely saturated. I mean, saturated. I don't have a baton near me. Yeah, kind of. I'll use this. This is wet, though, and very soft, so it's probably not going to last very long. I might have to go make a better baton, but we're going to at least get started and try and get this thing going. So what I'm going to do, I think you guys are going to be able to at least, so I'm going to start knocking down this log. It's a pretty big piece, and there we go. So there is some nice dry wood inside, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take off a bunch of pieces. I'm going to work in a circle and see if I can't knock this thing down into appropriate sizing. Oh, there goes my baton. So first I need a better baton. Hold on. All right, so this baton is probably a little too big, but it'll definitely help get the job done. I need to take off bigger pieces than what I just did. That is all soaked anyway, it doesn't really matter. But I picked a big piece of log to break down, and I could have went with something thinner. Man, I'm hammering on it, and I'm watching the water come out from around the edge. But I'm hammering dead on the tip of this knife with a pretty big log. So if I was going to have any tip damage, that would be the cause. But so far, so good. So I'm breaking up a bunch of these little pieces here, and I'm going to just try and make the log smaller and smaller as I go. People have been asking about this knife. Is it as good as it seemed, or was it like a fluke, blah blah blah, that it just looked good in the testing? Well, I'll tell you what, this is probably the 5th time I've used this. I knocked down some and processed some wood for the house, for the fireplace, and it's so far, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, this thing has been a beast. I know a few people have actually gone out and gotten one off the video, and they appear pretty happy with that decision, and I can tell you I am really happy with mine. And you see, this is just like a perfect all-around bushcraft knife, and it's good looking. It's a good looking knife. It's got a good design. There's nothing on it that doesn't belong on a knife. There's nothing on it that's just goofy. So I like that. I like that it's just straight up bushcraft knife. It's all it needs to be. So here we go. I'm knocking this thing down. It's just piece by piece getting smaller and smaller. So as I get to the end, it's going to be a lot easier to use the knife on this piece of wood, because right now it's pretty difficult, but it's working. I'm going to put that piece aside because that's a good one to feather on, and I'm just going to keep on going, knocking this thing down. And I mean, the edge is holding up beautifully. This thing is crazy sharp still. And I haven't done anything to it in all the times I've used it so far. And yes, it's only been about 5 times, which isn't a ton, but it's still enough, right? Look at that, man. It's just tearing through this stuff. So starting out with a log way too big for this knife, I'm able to break down a lot to get it ready for fire making. So, I mean, when it comes down to surviving in the woods and surviving at a camp and having the kind of stuff that's gonna get you there, This is the kind of stuff that's going to get you there. This thing is fantastic. So I have good pieces there. Actually, I'm going to remove this piece and use this piece because this might be better. So now that that's all done, I just want to get some shaves and possibly some swoops and some curls, and then I'll get some butter ups and I'll put it all right down there and start making a fire. So right now I'm going to use a side grip and I'm going to do some pulls and just get some nice thick pieces. And that's going to be my start, is some thick ones. Oh yeah. And you got to try and keep them all around. But this right here is going to give me a nice area to concentrate the beginning of my fire. And I think it's going to help out really well. Luckily, the inside of this is nice and dry. The outside is not, and I'm probably staining my shirt because you always go outside in good clothing to do this kind of stuff. But so let's see. I'm going to start going around it so I have multiple sides that are shaven, and I don't want to lose it all, so I'm going to keep it right there. And that's good right there. So now I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it down, and all the pieces that fell off I'm just going to put with it. So I have enough little tiny pieces to help me get going, right? So now I'm going to take another piece and I'm going to try and just make some nice tight stuff. So I'm going to dig my knife into there and find a good spot to get started and make some really, really nice tight ones. And the more you have, the better it is. So find yourself some good areas on a piece of stuff you cut and just keep going back and forth until you get a nice area all the way around a stick that is completely fluffed out. That's going to help. Now, right now, it's really, really freaking windy. But I should be okay. I have a bunch of this stuff growing, so I'm going to utilize this as well. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to break it up, and then I'm going to just use my hands to kind of make it nice and small and tight and compact, because I want a nice little, like a nice little bird's nest going on there, right? So I have a nice tight area. So all this so far is going pretty quick. What I gotta do now is take my my ferro rod here, and I'm gonna unsnap this because I have it tied in there. Here we go, that's off, and that's off. So I have to break down the ferro rod, which means I have to take off some of this coating, right? So that way I can get a firm strike. So once I get rid of all the black, then I can strike it. Hold on. All right, because everything's wet, I do have this to help get it going, but I'm gonna get the fire started first and then throw this on. So I wanna do a true fire before I start adding anything. I use the striker to clean off the black off the ferro rod, but I'm gonna use the actual spine where it's dug out to get my fire going. I hope. I'm lefty and I totally did this backwards. So let me try and turn this all the way around, which I'm not going to be able to do. But here we go. I'll try anyway. All right. So now that worked. That worked. We have fire. I got all my pieces right here. I'm going to start sticking them in there. So now you see that even in a wet environment, we can still make fire. That actually worked out really well. That little tiny ferro rod just did the job. I don't want to lose it, so I'm going to throw it over there. I know it's kind of an oxymoron. I don't want to lose it, so I'm going to throw it somewhere. But now that that's good, and I have all those little pieces and all this little stuff that I broke down, I can start managing it by putting the small stuff on top and start to let it go. Now what I'm going to do is with that small stuff on top of the fire, I'm going to put big stuff, because there's going to be enough air underneath the big stuff because I put small stuff under there. You know what I mean? So by taking a bunch of little sticks and putting them down and then big sticks on top, what I did is I created a buffer zone. So there's going to be a lot of oxygen going through there. So I don't have to worry about drowning out my fire. So now, honestly, I didn't even need this backup stuff, but I'm going to use it anyway because it'll just help it burn hot. You know, I want to get a nice hot fire. I'm going to use it in a second. I'm not even going to use it right now because this thing is burning really well. It actually took off a lot better than I thought it was going to. And now I can just make a full pile, and I'm going this way, this way, this way, this way. So I'm going in a couple different directions. And yes, I'm sitting in the fire pit because I'm a real man. And because it's the most comfortable spot so far. But now you can see the wind blowing the fire in different directions. That means it's getting in between that spot. So I don't need to sit there and try to blow on it to make it work any better. This is fantastic. This knife really, really did the job. I am super pleased. I'm gonna throw this cardboard in there now just to accelerate the heat. And it's not even cardboard, it's like egg crate. But I'm gonna put that on there, and that way I can take some of this wet wood and really start to dry it out. This is awesome. This is awesome. So it's just, let's get rid of this baton. It's just an absolute win for the Ravager. This is now, not counting the review, this is, I think, the 6th time I've taken this out and done any kind of work with it. I haven't touched the edge yet, and the edge is still sharp. It's still sharp. Let's see. Let's see if it's 1/2-inch nylon rope sharp, because that's a good test. Because we see a lot of things fail on the push cut. I mean, come on, man. This is the Croco Knives Ravager D2 steel, and it comes with a package right away out of the box that lets you be a bushcrafter. It lets you start fires. It lets you get it going. This is a super comfortable knife, super good quality, and I am super happy to be able to bring it to you guys. So go check these guys out. I'll put a link down below for the Croco Knives for this website, and keep your eyes open because there is a Croco Knives D-Bad blade coming out. And if you can see how this one's working and how easily it gets done what I need it to get done, you're going to be very, very pleased with what comes next. So that's it for this one. I'm going to go play in the fire. I am Donnie B all day. Until next knife.